I should ask you, Rosie, are you getting text messages from me about our events at our house, at my house?
Yes,
Okay. Just want to make sure, because that's what we're going to talk about today is events.
yes, I have it, but I have some very late work, so that's why I can attend.
No worries. No worries. I just want to make sure you're getting the invitations because I know you go to the other ones. So,
Yeah.
hey, Nicole, how are you doing? Good to see you. Glad you're here.
Oh, there you go. Hello.
Hello.
Are you good? I'm good.
Yep. Yep. It's bright sunny day. The sun is like right here. It came out today. So yesterday was all gray and Paul was.
I heard the East Coast has been really hot.
Has it been hot?
Yeah.
We're on the West Coast and it's been cold.
Yeah, it's been very cold here.
Where do you live?
I'm in BC right now.
Where? BC?
British Columbia.
That's what I thought you meant. When you said BC, I'm like, are you in British Columbia?
Yeah. I'm here till August, and then I'm back in Ontario.
Oh, my friend's daughter, she got accepted to the University of British Columbia, so she'll be going there this fall. Is that close to you?
No, that's on the mainland. I'm on the island.
Oh,
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
Well, Kelowna and I are going to talk about events today. We host events about twice a month at my house, and so we're going to talk about what we do, and we're doing something called Summer School, which is a program for people, just like certain groups of people. But the main idea behind the program is to host events on a regular basis and then support for that. So we're going to talk about, because we used to host events all the time, and then we didn't for a long time. And then we started again. What's it been, Kelowna? Like 6 months? Yeah, 6 months.
Yeah. Well, I don't remember exactly when, but I think about 6 months. Yeah, I think it was January or February. Yeah.
Yeah, and so we're going to talk about the invitation process. We're going to talk about how we come up with the events, which is, I don't know, we just come up with we have like a running list of ideas. And we also, I don't know, Kelowna, you started the call this morning, so why don't you talk about how it got started with listening to Dawn and that kind of thing?
Yeah, we were inspired after going to our friend Joanna Malone's retreat. She hosted a retreat at her house last November, and she had a lot of her business leaders come from all over the country, really. And she does these amazing retreats, and different people, different brand partners on her team got up and spoke and talked about either their story or how they build their young living businesses. And one of her brand partners, Dawn, gave a great presentation about how she has a weekly event, and every single Friday night she has people over to her house, and it's a casual get together where sometimes they talk about business tips and other times they talk about education. I'm just going to mute. I'm going to have you guys mute yourselves, or I'm going to mute you just so there's no like little background echo. Thanks. Yeah, so just kind of looked at each other and we're like, maybe we should be doing events more often, because ever since, whatever happened in the world a couple years ago, however you want to describe it, the world shut down for a bit for some people, and it felt like not everybody was coming out like of their houses as much, right? For a while, it was hard to get people to come out and about. And then now we feel like people want to come out and about, but they need to be invited, and they need to be invited personally. And we decided to start creating community again, because like a lot of us, we had a huge local community and just, hustling and bustling events. And we would have so many people at our events years ago when we started this business. 2014 was the year that I started sharing and teaching about Young Living and really doing it as a business. And it was just, growing huge. And it was very easy to get people to come to events then. And it takes a little more effort now. It's always taken effort to get people to come in person, but what we have realized over the last 6 months of having people either get together, we started weekly and now we're doing every other week at Jessica's house in Encinitas, California. And we've kind of opened it up to Crossline and to other local leaders to invite their people. And even, Carol Ye Garner lives locally and she's not directly on our team either, but we go to her events and she comes to ours and we invite people to both. And it's been really nice to kind of collaborate with other local leaders. So what we do is we get together and we decide what events we want to do for the upcoming month. And so, for example, on this Wednesday, we call them Wellness Wednesday. We usually have them on Wednesday nights. And this coming Wednesday is a DIY event. And so we're going to be just making body butter and bath salts and a sugar scrub. And it's stuff that, I've made before and it turns out great and I love it. And I usually give it away as gifts. And so that's one of the events that we're doing. But in order to get people to come, I individually text a lot of people, and then Jessica does a project broadcast. And so Jessica and I are on the same team. She's actually my Royal Crown Diamond, so she has access to everyone's information in my downline. And so she actually sends out a project broadcast to everyone in the San Diego area that's ever been on her team. And it's been really effective in getting people to kind of come out of the woodwork that have disappeared, over the years of just not getting together, not doing events consistently. And so it's been great. We've been having people come that we haven't seen in years, and they're so grateful. And then they bring people back. They bring new people. Jessica, do you want to talk about the girl that came last week who was like brand new? She didn't know anything about oils. Oh, are you muted?
Sorry. Yeah, so that was really fun. You just don't know who's going to bring who when you have these events, and we make it that way. Just say, hey, yeah, you're welcome to bring anybody. You don't, it's nice if they RSVP, but it's also not necessary. If someone just wants to come last minute, that's fine. And so, I'm sorry, Kelowna, what was his name? Your friend?
Oh, Michael.
Mike. So this guy came and he was on my text list and he was enrolled by someone that Kelowna had enrolled. And he said he just kind of like didn't have any plans or something that night and he saw the text. He's like, let's go to that. So he had, I think his coworker or friend or somebody. And so they showed up and he didn't really know what he was coming to, I don't think. And we just welcomed him and they came in and I started chatting with her and I couldn't tell how old she was. I thought she was kind of like late 20s, but she was actually only 20. And we started to talk about the oils and she said, well, what's the difference between Young Living and other companies? And, I showed her the EODR and then I showed her the Gary Young book and her eyes got all big and she just had never really gotten into the world of oils at all. And it was really exciting to, just introduce her and talk to all these things. I'm like, oh, it's like somebody who like me 10 years ago, or like somebody who's totally fresh and doesn't really know a lot about these types of things. And it was just really fun. And then we started talking about the business opportunity too, towards the end, not in the beginning at all, but just like towards the end of the night. Cause, she was kind of asking him like here, and I gave her like a copy of the 4-year career, and Michael wanted one too, actually. So, I'm going to send her a text tonight and see if she wants to come on Wednesday, but it's just inviting people to come take a look. And like Kelowna said on our call this morning, the oils, we teach a class, or Kelowna teaches a class where we have a guest speaker, but the oils speak for themselves. The unfortunate part of social media is that people cannot try them. Imagine if people could actually like have an experience with the oils through social media, we'd sell like, 10 times as much, because they'd be like, oh my gosh, I gotta get this. But I don't know. It's like when you're in person, you actually smell the oils and you're like, oh, wow, I didn't realize they were this powerful. So yeah, she was really great to talk to.
Yeah. And, a couple of key points for having events. I think Jessica pointed this out, and we did a call for a smaller group earlier. That's what she was referring to. But Jessica referred to a talk that she watched last year at convention by Casey Wiegand and Courtney Kreitz. And they gave a statistic of like, when you put on an event, 90% of your time and energy is spent inviting. And I've noticed that if you put something up on social media, like even if it's in a private Facebook group or if it's on your wall or in your stories, it might remind someone of you, but they don't really feel personally invited. So if you've personally invited someone by calling them or texting them or sending them like a little voice message or something, they'll feel more personally invited. And then the social media post will maybe just be them a reminder. But I think you used to be able to get more people coming to things from just like posting something in a group. But I feel like now everyone's attention is so spread out across so many different platforms, and people are kind of not seeing everything, with the way the algorithms work or whatever. And so it really does take quite a bit of time to individually reach out to people. In addition to Jessica's project broadcast, I do individually text people that are my friends or my family or in my Young Living organization locally. And I don't text every single person every single week. I'll sometimes, skip a couple weeks if I don't hear from someone, or, if they came to the last one and we've told them, hey, next time is this event, they already know. And I just kind of go through all the contacts in my phone though, and I kind of select, but sometimes I'll text, it'll take me over 2 hours over the course of a couple days, and I'll text like maybe 140 people. And guess how many people show up out of 140 texts? I mean, I would say 15, 20, maybe, so you kind of have to like over invite like way more people than you think would come. And even of all the people that say I'm coming, there's usually a handful that canceled the day of, or right as you're getting started in the event, you're getting texts like, oh, I'm not going to be able to make it. I got to pick up my kid from soccer or whatever. So I think over inviting is the key to getting, a few people to come. And sometimes we only have, last week, I think we only had 5 people. We talked about Ningxia Red and the reset. But sometimes we have, a full room, with 20 people, 15 people, which is great. But I think the consistency in building community has been really important because people keep coming back, and then they're bringing people and they say at the end, what's next week? What's gonna, what classes are you guys doing next month? So we have a lot of fun, different ideas that we've done. Our the Seventh Heaven protocol, which we were inspired by Joanna Malone, going through these 7 oils. If you haven't heard of them, you could search this group. I think there is a post, either a video or at least a post about it. And you just go through 7 Young Living oils, starting with Sacred Mountain and ending with White Angelica, and you just basically get a drop in your hand and apply them. But if you ask someone how they're feeling, like Jessica was just saying, go around the room with everybody sitting in a circle, pass the oils, and then you ask everybody at the end of whatever oils you've applied, everyone feels different afterwards. And so you don't have to be an expert. You don't have to know everything, all the, chemical properties of the oil or all the ingredients in the oil. You don't have to know all of that. It's just getting people together, giving them an experience, and really making them feel better and part of something. And so it's really fun. And then what we do at the beginning of our events is we always have food. Jessica, do you want to talk about the food?
I do. I love to talk about the food because food's just yummy. And I know you'll listen to other people say, don't make a lot of food. You don't want to like set such a high standard and make people think that they can't replicate it. But my mind is they don't need to replicate it, because if anybody lives around here, they could just bring them to my event. They don't need to like go off and do this themselves. Of course, if someone's watching this and you live in a different city, but you don't have to make a lot of food. You can go get some chips and salsa and water and you're fine. But we like to make food. So Kelowna will make something, I'll make something, we'll kind of coordinate it. But soups are easy because you can feed a lot of people with a big pot of soup. We've done that. We've done like pizza. We've done different things like breads and yummy things. Just something yummy for people to come and try. Salads are good. I usually have some kind of punch that I make with Ningxia Red. I like Ningxia Red with like pineapple juice and some sparkling water. That's good. Things like that. Just are simple to make. And yeah, I mean, you have to get things like cups and plates and forks and all that kind of stuff, but napkins. But it's fun. It's fun to have food. You don't have to though. Don't feel like, oh, I got to make a lot of food. No, you don't. In fact, I don't make a lot of food. I did the very first time. I made so much food, and at the end I'm like, okay, I don't think that was a good idea. But right now, like, I kind of make one thing and then I'll have a dessert, and Kelowna will bring something too. And then recently people have started to bring stuff too, especially the regulars. They've kind of like, oh, I brought something tonight, and they've made, fruit salad and things like that. So, but I always tell people you don't have to, but you're welcome to. If you like have something you want to share or just contribute, sure. And we just put everything out on the counter behind me. And then we have a class. I have another room that I just keep all the chairs in there, and they're all in a circle. And we just kind of, use how many chairs we need. Last week, we had a small gathering for the 14-day reset. So we just stayed in here around the table, and not last week, it was 2 weeks ago, but we just stayed here. But generally we'll go in that other room and just kind of have a round. We like to keep things in the round so everyone can see everybody, and it's not so classroom style. I like for people to engage. It just depends on the situation. But we have guest speakers too who come and do different things. It's not always oil focused, although we always incorporate oils, but it's not, we've done classes around the feelings kit and things like that. But the classes have been we've done the 5 love languages book, a class on Ho'oponopono, different things that are not exactly oil, but then we've also done straight up oil. It's just good to mix it up, I feel like, because people will find different topics that they're interested in. And then some people say, oh, could you teach this class again? And I'm like, well, we're kind of moving on to the next thing, because we don't always want to teach the same classes over and over. But there's so many, Young Living with all of our many products, and then the whole wide world outside of Young Living, there's so many things that you could talk about and teach about. Oh, and Kelowna was saying this morning, you could talk to people in your community, chiropractors, acupuncturists, any kind of teacher about different things, yoga teachers or different things. You could have guest speakers come in and talk about their specialty. I know Carol Garner's had a lot of classes with people who teach about lymph health and other types of natural health things. And then you can always incorporate oils or other products and say, with their modality of what they teach, a good Young Living product would be to incorporate would be this. You get the idea. So.
Yeah. And like Jessica was saying, for example, a couple of weeks ago, we had a trauma therapist. She's a, licensed marriage and family therapist that works specifically with trauma. And she learned, she got a starter kit from me and started using the oils, and she's paying attention to me talking about how they work with the emotions and the emotional center in the brain and past trauma. And she's like, wow, well, I take people through an exercise where we do something called EMDR. And to prep for that, she does this exercise called Calm Safe Space, where she kind of instructs you, it's almost like a guided meditation or something, to kind of find this happy place that you can use. And she wanted to use, she's like, could we do an event together where you talk about the essential oils when I take people through this process? Because she understands how the brain works and how our sense of smell is connected with that limbic area of the brain, which is the seat of our emotions and also where we store past trauma. And so she incorporates all the senses in the exercise that she already does. And she's like, during the smell portion, I want to pass around an oil. I'm like, yes, please. You know what I mean? So she came, and that was one of the most well-attended events we had. And that's one that people are asking to have again. And it was great. And, she was like, I'm used to working with people one-on-one. I'm not sure how this is going to be in a group. And it was phenomenal, right, Jessica? It was amazing. Yeah. And, and it wasn't, other than the part where we smelled the oil during that one portion, it wasn't an oil class. It was, this class where this therapist was talking to us about trauma and how to release it and how we store it in our bodies. And so, yeah, it was cool. And then, she's getting referrals. She gave her a little handout and, that talked about the exercise we did. And then she included her information at the bottom. So it supports other people's businesses as well. And it's nice to kind of merge what we do with what other wellness practitioners and healthcare providers do. So if you have a relationship with a local massage therapist or an acupuncturist or anyone in your community, you could invite them to speak at your house or your event. And if you don't have a person that you can think of, it's time to go meet one. You could go get a massage or go get acupuncture or meet a chiropractor by going to them. And when you find someone you like, then you could build that relationship with them and kind of combine your, what we do and what they do. So it's been a lot of fun. It's been really helpful for getting people to reactivate their accounts. And like we mentioned, people bringing new people. So these are just ideas where you can help your Young Living existing business kind of get activated and re-inspired with people that are already there, that are in your community that might not be ordering. And then by bringing new people, you're getting new enrollments either under them or under you, however they're connected with. We always, especially since we're inviting cross-line, we're very careful to say, go back to the person that invited you or who you originally ordered from. If you need to reactivate your account, we'll help them get connected with whoever they need to make sure it's, everybody's with who they're supposed to be. But it's great because I think our main intention is community and then just spreading health and wellness information. And we just have such great products with Young Living that we need to keep sharing the word and giving people the experience of trying the products. And so we are sharing very freely, the oils and these different things for our DIY this Wednesday. We are charging, but otherwise we have our classes for free. So definitely do it within your budget, but sharing a couple drops of oil with someone could change their life. So it's definitely worth it to get people together and offer them that experience to just have a little break from the hustle. Most people are really busy, and when they sit still and then they connect with mostly women, we have mostly women at our events, and they just get a break from their families or their work or whatever is stressing them out, and they have some time to just breathe some oils and be around good energy. Everyone leaves on cloud nine, see you next time, So it's been really a lot of fun for us to do something consistent.
Just as you were talking, Kelowna, I just remembered when I went to my very first oil class. It actually wasn't for Young Living; it was for another company. And afterwards, I went up to her and I said, "I want to learn more. How can I learn more?" And she said, "Oh, well, if you want to come up to my house in Ramona, I guess I could show you a few things. But we pretty much covered everything in this class." And I was just so hungry for more. I'm like, there's no way I learned everything I need to know about essential oils in the last hour and a half. So something like this, I would have been all over. So just when if you're thinking about doing this, as you're listening to us, start thinking about events. It's really great if you have a buddy because you can bounce ideas off of. You don't have to do it all by yourself. Maybe it's somebody local who's on your team, or maybe somebody who is a cross-line friend but is local, or just somebody to do it with. And you can both invite people and share all the community. And so just focus on mostly inviting 90% of your attention for your event. That's what Casey Wiegand and Courtney Kreitz said. 90% should be focused on inviting people, 10% on actual planning the event. Of course, you don't want people to get there and you don't have something to talk about, but you can just go through the kit. Or you can go through any of our kits, the Feelings kit, or all the kits that we have. Or you could talk about something that's related that you know about, or you can just make a recipe and add oils into it and you can all cook together in your kitchen, or you could do a DIY. So you don't necessarily have to teach. We're not going to be teaching this week. We're just going to be showing people how to, make these things, and then they're going to sit and make them and chat. Because a lot of it's actually just chatting and community and building friendships. And that's probably the most fun part. But anyway, don't feel like, well, I don't know what I'm going to teach. You can just do make and takes, or you can do, like I said, cooking classes for fun, or just ask other people what they know. And as you have classes, and I just was thinking about this, Kelowna, we should do this too. We need to have a sign-in sheet, and we should have a thing that says, do you have a class that you'd like to teach? Maybe something like that, because we don't know what people know, and people know all kinds of things, and have different backgrounds and different subjects. Or just maybe when we did the 5 love languages, that was just a book I read a long time ago that stayed with me. And even though it's not directly connected to essential oils, we just talked about relationships mostly, and then kind of used oils while we were talking about it, and always had the diffusers going. So you can incorporate all different kinds of things that you know about or what other people know about. And don't stress the topics of feeling people aren't going to want to come or things like that. Just if they're not coming, it's probably because you just posted on Facebook and then called it a day. You really got to do the text messages, personal invites, and then do a follow-up text, like do a text initially to invite them, and then do a text maybe the week before and say, hey, we're gonna do this craft part of thing, and I need to know your favorite color, just to kind of remind them something like that, or just say, hey, just wanted to do a little follow-up remind you, make sure that you're still coming. And then even the day of, possibly, you could send them a text and say, hey, so the front door is open, come on in when you get here. Something like that, or just say, I'm looking forward to seeing you tonight. Because people just get busy, and we can't take it personally. Because I know I get busy. I was supposed to go to Kelowna's house at 11 today, and I didn't get there till 11:30 because life took over. People are like, Mom, I need your help right now. And you're like, but I gotta go. Anyway, just don't take it personally and just keep doing it, and over way more than you think, way more than you think you need to. Because you just don't know what's going to resonate with people. You know what we should have, Kelowna? We should have a class on pain, physical pain, because that's a big topic for a lot of people, and we should make homemade pain cream. That would be, because I got to do that for people anyway. And we could just talk about like we have lots of products for pain, which are not compliant, but we could talk about it in a class. So we could call it like pain management. Oh, and I actually have a girl on my team who's a physical therapist for pain. Maybe she'd like to come and teach. So anyway, yeah, there's just all kinds of things you can do, and just keep brainstorming ideas. Keep a running list on your phone of classes for ideas for classes, sorry. Because something might hit you and while you're driving, and just put it in the notes on your phone at a stoplight or something. Anyway, so any questions? No? You guys looking forward to convention coming up? You guys gonna come?
I'll be there. I can't wait.
Yay!
Yeah, this will be my first in person, so I'm really, really excited. I think I've
Wow.
done 4 virtuals, and yes, this was my bucket list.
Yay.
That's so
thank-
exciting.
Yeah, I am excited. Yeah.
Where do you live?
I'm in Ontario, like
Oh.
Canada. Mhm.
That's far. That's awesome.
Yeah. So, and I don't
Well-
have anybody. My upline is like Ashley, so like Ashley Westfall and Nikki Ham. So I've not had any anyone close to me in any way at all, like from from anywhere like above or anything. So so yeah, these classes like this have been really great. So thank you for that. But it'll be really nice to actually meet people in person for sure.
Where in
For sure.
Ontario are you?
I'm in, so do you know, well, I guess you would know maybe Toronto. Do you know where Toronto is?
Yeah, I'm in Toronto. I'm going back to Toronto in August.
Oh, okay. I'm about 40 minutes north. So I'm in Stouffville,
Okay,
north,
cool.
like Newmarket, maybe Pickering,
Yeah,
if you
yeah.
know.
Yeah, yeah,
Mhm.
cool.
Yeah. Sorry, where do you live?
I'm
Here?
heading back to Toronto in August, but I'm in British Columbia right now.
Oh, you're west. Okay.
Yeah.
Mhm. Oh, very
But Toronto's very, very crazy, and it's I have to go back for surgery, so I'm going back in August.
Mhm.
But yeah, I'm basically in the general area of Toronto, like GTA.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, very cool. Good.
Well, thanks for joining us tonight. And for people who come back to watch
you.
the replay, you guys can let us know if you have any questions about events. And yeah, we'll see you in Spruce Society and at convention.
Perfect. Thank you, ladies. Have a good night.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.